Ever feel like you've got this creative spark inside, but it just won't quite catch fire?
No, tell me about it.
Well, good news, because today we're diving deep, really deep, into Big Magic, a book by Elizabeth Gilbert. You might know her from Eat, Pray, Love.
Huge bestseller.
Yeah, exactly. But in Big Magic, she's all about unlocking creative potential. And get this, it's not just for artists or like super creative types, it's for anyone.
Totally.
Anyone who wants to ditch that fear that kind of holds us back.
Mhm.
So what we want to do is pull out those key lessons from the book, the stuff you can actually use to, live a more creative life, like starting today.
Sounds good to me.
So one of the things that struck me about Gilbert's approach is it's not all woo-woo and mystical, you know what I mean?
Right.
It's really grounded. She's talking about practical ways to really engage with your creativity, even when it feels, well, scary.
Absolutely. And actually, that's the first thing she tackles head on, that fear.
Right, fear. It's like that uninvited guest that just like shows up to every creative party. Gilbert says it's going to be there, pretty much guaranteed whenever you try something new,
Hmm.
especially if it, matters to you.
Yeah, if you're really invested. And it makes sense, right? When you put yourself out there, there's that vulnerability.
Yeah, totally. But her point isn't to try and like banish fear altogether. Good luck with that.
Yeah.
It's more about changing its role.
Exactly. She has this really cool analogy about it. She says, fear is like a passenger in your car. It's along for the ride, you know, offering all its nervous commentary like, oh, watch out, or
Hmm.
are you sure about this?
Backseat driver.
Totally. But the key is it doesn't get to grab the wheel. It doesn't decide where you're going or how fast.
So true. Have you ever noticed, though, that fear can sometimes feel like it's like really in control, like it's the one calling the
Oh,
shots?
all the time.
It's that voice that whispers all the reasons why you shouldn't even bother, why it won't work, why you're not good enough, blah, blah, blah. So, what's Gilbert's alternative? Just like keep driving, ignore it.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
It's about acknowledging it. Like, hey, fear, I see you back there freaking out. Thanks for the input. But then you gently but firmly just keep going.
Separate the feeling from the action.
Exactly. Now, she also has this other idea that I found pretty interesting. It's about, well, ideas themselves.
Okay.
Gilbert actually suggests that creative ideas are like almost like little energy packets kind of floating around out there,
Whoa, okay.
looking for a human to partner up with.
So they're like looking for us.
Yeah, it's like they want to collaborate. They're
Yeah.
actively seeking someone who's, you know, open and receptive, ready to bring them to life.
That's kind of a cool thought.
It is. And it made me think about those times when you have a flash of inspiration, you get an idea, and then you just kind of dismiss it. You're like, that's silly, or I could never do that. And then later on, you see someone else doing something similar, and you're like, wait a minute, I thought of that.
I've totally done that.
Right. And Gilbert suggests that, well, maybe those ideas just moved on because they didn't find a good landing spot with you.
Interesting. So we need to like be ready to catch them.
Exactly. She even recommends keeping a notebook or, something handy to jot down those fleeting thoughts
Yeah.
before they disappear. It's almost like you're saying, hey, idea, I'm here. Tell me more.
Okay, so we've got to be open, we've got to be ready. But then there's that other hurdle, feeling like we need permission.
Oh, yeah. Like someone has to give us the green light to be creative.
Exactly. And Gilbert is so firm on this. She says you don't need anyone's approval. There's no creative gatekeepers out there who decides if you're worthy or whatever.
It's so liberating, right? Think about how often we, like, subconsciously wait for some external validation, a degree, a certain level of experience, someone to tell us we're good enough.
It's like we're waiting for permission to even try.
But Gilbert flips that on its head. She says your curiosity, your genuine interest, that's all the permission you need. Creativity isn't a credential, it's just like part of being human.
What's something you've been putting off, creatively speaking? Something you've been waiting for the right time to do?
Ooh, good question.
Another thing she talks about, which I think a lot of people struggle with, is perfectionism. It can be such a creativity killer. You know that saying, done is better than perfect?
Oh, for sure. And what's interesting is how she connects perfectionism back to that fear we were talking about.
Oh, yeah.
Like sometimes striving for this unattainable ideal of perfect
Mhm.
is actually just a way to avoid finishing something. Because if you don't finish it, you don't have to put it out there.
Right. You're protected from judgment, from criticism, but you're also stuck.
Exactly. You can get so bogged down in the tweaking and refining that the project never actually sees the light of day. And Gilbert's point is, the act of completion itself has value. It doesn't have to be perfect.
So true. So don't let perfectionism be the thing that holds you back.
Totally. And then finally, she talks about motivation
Yeah.
and specifically intrinsic motivation.
So, like, doing things because you actually enjoy them.
Yeah, creating for the love of the process itself, not just for some external reward like fame or fortune.
Because, let's face it, if your only motivation is getting likes or making money, what happens when that doesn't come?
You're more likely to give up.
Totally. But if you're fueled by a genuine passion for the act itself, well, that's a much more sustainable kind of energy.
Think about the things you do just because they bring you joy. The outcome, the end result, it's almost secondary to the experience itself. That's the kind of motivation Gilbert is talking about.
Okay, so if we're going to boil all this big magic down to, like, the essence, the main
What's
takeaway,
the big idea?
it seems to be this. Creativity isn't some exclusive club. It's not just for the chosen few. It's accessible to everyone if you're willing to engage with it.
And yeah, fear is going to be there, probably always lurking in the back seat.
But it doesn't have to drive. It doesn't get to decide.
So now that we've, explored all this, I'm
Yeah.
curious, what's one tiny, maybe even slightly audacious step you could take today to invite a little more creativity into your life?
Even if that little voice of fear is trying to talk you out of it.
Tune in next time and let us know.
Until then, happy creating.
See you.